And then how it kind of continued was I was always cautious because I always wanted to make sure that I did protect myself. So to be honest, I didn't talk to him very often.
I thought she hated it.
Really?
I knew that was coming.
I really did. I thought she didn't. Like, I would see her and I would be like, does she not like me? Like, and we weren't thinking about anything. I was like, wow, she really like didn't talk to me a lot. And I was like, I thought I was being nice. And like, my friends would be like, no. And then like, there was another time I remember and my friends were like, oh yeah, she was kind of weird. And I was
I'm so sorry.
And there was like a few times and I didn't know. And I was just like, I was like, that's okay.
I thought I was being like polite by not.
She didn't really engage.
Basically, I was working on some music and we went through some of the demos that we had and Single Soon came up, which is ironic because it was actually nowhere near where I was in my personal life. But Benny happened to do the song.
No, I didn't even do the song. It was like one of my guys who did the song.
Oh, and you came to fix it.
And I like came to help out because I was like, oh, I want their song to, I was like, I don't like the way this product, let me just at least help them. I was like, well, I'm not sure if it'll be okay because I don't know if Selena likes me or something. And then John Janik, the president of Interscope, he was like, well, why don't you just go into the session? She usually doesn't have people in, but just go in and like, if there is something that you feel is weird, like try to just smooth it over and talk to her and get in. And I said, okay, I'm going to go smooth it over. So I went in. It was so funny. Right before I came, her engineer told me like later that she was like, oh, Benny's coming. And she was like.
And here's my reasoning. I'm going to defend myself.
Yeah,
I get very nervous around the producers watching me sing.
Of course.
It's just a very intimate thing for me. I feel like I need to sound a certain way or do whatever to make them happy. And when I get to record with just me and my engineer and maybe someone I trust, I get more out of the experience. So I just was thinking, okay, well, maybe he'll stay for 10 minutes and we'll just talk for a second. And 10 minutes turned into like 30. Then he went to the other room and I finished recording and he stayed there. And then, yeah, this is too long.
So from my perspective, here's what happened. I get in there.
I'm like,
I gotta smooth this.
I love this back and forth.
Yeah. I was like, I don't have this with anyone. Like, I was like, I want us to be chill. And obviously 99% of it was in my head. And I come in, we just start talking about life and her A&R is there. One of my friends is there. And we're talking about life and we start talking about dating. And I was like, yeah, I went out on this date, blah, blah, blah. And then I was talking to her and I said, oh my God, I have so many good single guy friends. I was like, we have dinners at the house all the time. You should come over sometime. And I wasn't even thinking about anything. And we're like talking about like our ideal date and like this and that. And I wanted to make sure she did the line right. So I was like, oh, I'll stay there to like make sure it's good after. And then, so I did, we left. And then
you texted me.
I didn't have her cell phone number because she changed her number a bunch. So I asked someone, I said, hey, give me your cell phone number. I want to say like, thing. And I wrote, I was like, oh my God, you were, and during that, when I was with her, I was like, oh my God. I was like, not only, she's like really cool. I want her to be like in our friend group. And I couldn't even be thinking, I was like, I want her to be in our friend group and I want to make sure this thing's smoothed out. So the song goes well and everything. So I said, let me just text her, thank you or whatever. And I was like, you were so sweet or something like that. And then she writes back, I guess we were texting throughout the day. And she told me, she looked back at our message. She said, somehow you started sending like selfies where you looked really bad on purpose, like the worst ones in your phone.
You started to do this.
Yes. Yeah. Which, by the way, no girl should really, or anyone in their right mind to someone they would have a crush on do that. But we were talking about ugly photos, like, because I always say I take the worst photos sometimes. And he's like, oh, you said something. And I sent him the worst pictures of me, like in bed sick. And then, me at weird photo shoots. And now looking back on it, I'm just thinking these are so weird.
Wait,
I don't
did you
know why
like
I
me
sent
in that
it.
moment yet or not yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. So
That's what I was trying to figure
I
out.
had no
Okay.
idea. So I had no idea. And somehow we decide.
So wait, why did you do that if you liked Benny? Why were you sending?
Well, because I didn't know that it was going to be like, maybe I thought it was just going to be flirting and not really anything else.
Got it.
But I really started to just, I don't know, fall for him.
So I didn't know any of this.
No.
And then we decide, I forget how it happens, but we're like, yeah, let's hang out. And I was like, oh, my friend's having a birthday party tomorrow. I was like, you just come along. And I was like, just thinking friend stuff. And then, so she comes to mine, and I guess she thought the party was going to be at my house, but I was like, oh, in my head, I was like, oh, she'll just come over and we can just like grab a drink first and then go there. Like, not thinking anything of it. I was like, we'll just like grab a drink at my friend's wine bar. It's on the way. And then we'll go there. You were there. And we were sitting together, and she said something like, well, because it's a date, I wore blah, blah. And I was like, I was like, what?
No, I said, if this was a date, I definitely would have dressed like nicer. And he just kind of looked at me, and I thought we were on a date.
And I was like, we're on a date. And then we went, and then we didn't really talk about it.
So wait, who thought it was a date?
She thought it was.
Oh.
She thought it was a date.
I'm sorry, a nice man takes me out for a drink. I'm assuming it's a date.
I didn't know.
But no one had asked each other out yet.
No, it was like, let's just hang out. Like,
Yeah.
And then we go to my friends, we go to this Thai restaurant, we go to Jitlada, and we're like hanging out, and there's a bunch of people there. And then she all of a sudden like leaves. And she was like, I have a video shoot really early in the morning. And I was like, okay. And I was like, but I wasn't like, because it wasn't a date to me or anything. So I was like, okay, cool. And I stayed with my friends and stuff. And then she texted me after, and I remember you being like, that was like one of the most fun times I've had in a really long time.